Well, if you fancy a flutter, you've probably learned the hard way that for most of us, every enticing little win is usually countered by an equal and opposite loss. Well, it is for me anyway. But now an Adelaide pensioner reckons he's cracked the secret to success, because for the past 9 months, Bert Bogert has been betting every day and winning every day. As Paul Macon reports, Bert reckons anyone can do it, but there are rules and you need to know how and when to bet, and just as importantly, when to stop.
I found the greatest selection method in the world.
His name is Bert Bogert.
I want to help the small punters. They're the ones that are, not getting a fair deal.
Picking winners is his game.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, it's my passion.
For 30 years, Bert has been trying to come up with the perfect betting system, and now he reckons he has.
Oh, yes, I have, yes.
And you've got to admit, his strike rate is sensational. He's won every day, betting 7 days a week for the past 9 months.
Going to win it by about 4 lengths on the line.
Yes! Another one!
But surely there's no surefire way of picking winners. Just ask any punter.
The only system I know is you just get the pin out and pick one, in each race.
There's no such thing as a perfect system.
Obviously they haven't tried mine.
And don't think that Bert's system relies on a silly thing called form.
2/3 of the time people lose on betting on favourites, and my way works every month.
Home wreck of the A-Train, Silver Baron diving, fire tamed the A-Train.
Bert's convinced he's broken the code of racing's inner sanctum, knowing when a trainer is planning a coup.
Now they must always have certain training races, right? So not every one of them is trying to win. And this is where I come in. I found out how to find that out.
And he sells his galloping gold to eager punters interstate and overseas.
Yeah, I follow my own system as well, and I do my own betting on it, and there's not many tipsters that actually bet on their own tips.
It's going to be Handwood for Peter Clancy and Ernie March, and Handwood won the money from High Mays.
Yes, got another one. You beauty.
With a handsome return of $5.50.
G'day.
How you going?
Good, good. How's the luck been? We had a big day the other day.
Yeah, got it.
Ron and Judy Paps own a tab agency in the heart of Adelaide. With 40 years' experience in the race-calling business, Ron is always sceptical of so-called perfect racing systems.
One, if it's so good, he or she doesn't want to let others know about it and they want to keep it to themselves, or two, they just haven't worked, and I would suspect probably the latter.
I've tried for many years, and finally I found one that actually works.
Well, there's only one way to find out. Today Tonight watched Bert's barnstorming betting form for a month and then put it to the acid test of placing $500 in a tab phone account and following Bert's tips over 11 racing days to see if we could share in his success.
You will.
Using Bert's spreadsheet, staking system, tips and his little Fisher sweet philosophy, we adhered to his strict rule of 1% profit per punting day. Doesn't sound much, does it?
Oh yes, but if you do that over a whole month, that's just on 30% for the whole month. Much better than bank interest.
We also pitted Bert up against two heavy hitters in the tipping caper, the Adelaide Advertiser and Melbourne's Herald Sun, using their tips with Bert's modest staking plan to check if it was Bert's tips or his system that made the difference. The idea is to quit as soon as you make your 1% profit, betting only on horses paying $4 or better for a win.
Bring on anybody. I can beat them all.
The first day, Bert won $11.20 on race 2 at Mornington with a Neddy called out of options. The Herald Sun and Advertiser were out of options because they both blew their $500 bank and were still looking for their $4 or better winner late into the day.
Obviously, for the last 200 years, many people, even the experts, have tried, and not one of them has succeeded so far.
Well, what about you?
And I have.
For the next 2 days, all three were showing a profit. But on the third day, the Herald Sun lost their bank again.
It doesn't surprise me at all, because most of those tipsters, they go for the favourites.
After 11 days, the Herald Sun finished with a profit of $188.75, but had to get it with a bank of $1,500. So that's just over 13% return. The Advertiser finished with $173 on a bank of $1,000. That's just over 17% on their money. But Bert won by a couple of furlongs, with a profit of $225.95 with his original bank of $500, giving him a massive 45% return. He even picked a winner paying over $36, the aptly named Fortune Finder.
Fortune Finder in front of French Snip Yakama, Eurotech and Fortune Finder. Fortune Finder wins 3/4 to French.
We're not gambling, we're running it as a business. And we're teaching people how to run their punting as a business.
One of those punting pupils is Jennifer De Beers, getting the hang of the spreadsheet which calculates the size of each bet, starting as low as $1.
That makes that $187 return, and that'll give you $53 profit.
That's great. He's been teaching me for 2 weeks now, and I know now that it works. You do have to have a lot of discipline. It does work.
And it's that discipline that could beat the average punter.
To get to a point where you've won your money for the day and you've got to stop, I'm not too sure too many of us can put our hand up and say, yeah, I can do that.
Within 3 years, Bert hopes to take his punting system on the road and run seminars all over Australia. But beware. As Bert says, if you get greedy, you will come unstuck.
I have the magic formula, and I've proven it over and over again.